Welcome back to the She Shed. Today's tutorial is going to be making this roll neck poncho or turtleneck poncho or whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, rolls down like so. The yarn I used for this is Ferris wheel. It is 247 meters and this color is called Morning Java. But I won't be using this yarn for this one. I will be using this color. Look at the funky color in that. Very beautiful. And this one is called Cherry on Top. You will need 5 balls of this. You will need a 5.5 millimeter hook or a eye hook. This is my Furls, or do the hook gauge that suits you. You will need your scissors, your yarn needle, and a stitch marker. This is one of the stitch markers that we make. It is our platypus, and you're quite welcome to buy one out of our store if you would like. So you can go to our website or our Facebook store. Okay, let's get this project started. Alright, we're going to be starting with the neck, and we need to chain 24. So create a slip knot and put it on your hook and chain 24. Alright, so you got your chain of 24. Just chain another one, and then what we're going to do is skip that chain you've just done and go into the second chain. So we're going to do single crochet into each chain stitch. So that's hook in, grab a yarn, bring it through, and grab a yarn and bring through the 2 on the hook. So you want to go into the front where the V is, not into the back of the stitch where the lumps are. So you're just going into that V there. So put your hook in, grab a yarn, bring it through, grab your yarn, through the 2 on your hook. And do that in every single stitch, and I will meet you at the end. At the end of the row, your first row, chain 1, turn your work, and now we are going to be doing all our stitches in the top of the stitch in the V there. So turn your work up, right, and you'll see the V's. We're going to be doing a stitch in every one of those V's. So you're not going into the chain 1 you just did, you're going into that V there. So straight into the middle of the V towards the back, grab a yarn, pull it through, and grab a yarn and pull through the 2 on the hook. So again, in that V towards the back, grab a yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn and pull through the 2 on the hook. And this is what will create a stitch. So every one of your stitches now for the whole entire neck is going to be in that V, going to the back, bringing your yarn through and doing a single crochet in every stitch. When you get to the end of the row, the last stitch is in that chain that you started with at the first row. So you do need to put a stitch into there, and then chain 1, turn your work and repeat again. Now we are going to be doing 75 rows of rib stitch. So once you have completed your 75 rows, come back. I'll meet you back here at the end of the 75 rows. After finishing your neck, the next stage is to join the neck together. Before you do that, do make sure that your last row finished the opposite side of your tail. So the tail is up here and I have finished down here. Because when you join them together, you're going to seam along here, and you want to seam along so you're up by your tail, and then you can sew your tail in as we go around. So what we need to do, bring the two sides together, and then we're going to slip stitch all the way down the side there. So find the top of your first stitch, put your hook in, grab a yarn, pull it through, and pull through the loop on the hook. Go to your second stitch, go in the middle of that second stitch there, find the second stitch on the other side, put your hook in, grab a yarn and pull through all the loops on your hook. Go to your next stitch and the next stitch on the other side, grab a yarn and pull through all the loops on the hook, and keep doing this all the way down till you get to the other end, and I will meet you back there when you're finished. Once you have joined your neck together, normally what we would then do is turn this inside out so you have a nice edge there. However, that's not going to work for this because this is the roll neck. Now I've got it all twisted, and let's go again. There we go. This is the roll neck, and this needs to be on the outside, so you can see that seam there, because we are going to be rolling it down like that, and therefore you want to have the nice side showing. Now I made the mistake and I forgot to do this on the brown one, and you can see here that's the seam there, all nice and neat, looks lovely. Now I'm going to roll it down, and look at that, I can see the seam. So I did this the wrong way. Luckily you can actually wear this inside out, so it can be worn the other way around, or you simply need to remember to put this at the back when you're wearing it, if you have it this way around. Okay, so remember to keep your seam on the outside because we're going to be rolling it down and it will be hidden. So when we have got our seam done, now we have to put some stitches around the top. This is where we're going to be doing half double crochet throughout the whole of the rest of this project, and we need to put 77 stitches around the top. Where you put them doesn't matter, but what I like to do is, you can see you've got the rise here and the fall, and the rise and the fall. I put a stitch on each one of them. Now I did 77 rows, so I did 75 rows, and therefore there's going to be 75 stitches if I did it like that, and I've got to add another 2 because I want 77. Where you put the other 2 doesn't matter. Nobody's going to actually notice if it's odd. So all you need to do, yarn over, go in, start again, yarn over and chain 1. Then I'm finding my tail so I can work my stitches over my tail, and then yarn over and go straight into the work there, bring a yarn through, yarn over and through the 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over. Now I'm going into that valley, I call it. Put your hook in, grab a yarn, pull it through, yarn over through the 3 on the hook, and you can see I'm working over the tail. Yarn over, I'm going into my heel now, and then into the little valley here. And keep doing that all the way around until you have your 77 stitches. Once you have created your 77 stitches, for the next 5 rows we're going to be increasing on each row. So for this one, get your stitch marker and just put your stitch marker at the end on your last stitch that you just created. And now we are going to be working continuously in the round, hence why the stitch marker is there, so you know where you started and stopped. And we are going to be going into the next stitch, which was the first stitch or the chain stitch of your round where you created the stitches, and you are going to be doing a half double crochet in the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in this 7th stitch you're going to be doing 2 half double crochets in that stitch. So we're going to 1 and then back into that same stitch, 2. And then the next 6 stitches, a single half double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in this stitch here, 7th stitch, we're doing 2 half double crochets in that same stitch. So that was 1, 2, and then the next 6 single half double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the next stitch, your 7th stitch, 2 half double crochets in that stitch. Now I'm going to leave you to finish that row and I'll meet you back at the end. Your last stitch of that round should be 2 half double crochets in that last stitch there, right where your stitch marker is. 1, 2. Okay, now move your stitch marker up to that last stitch there. Okay, and then this next round we're increasing on every 8th stitch. So we are going to be doing a single crochet in the first 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then your 8th stitch we're doing your 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch. Now you will notice that will be right above the double crochet, 2 half double crochets you put in the previous row. So you know you're in the right track if you're on top of your 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch for your next row. They're going to go on top of each other. You know you're in the right spot then. So then we're doing another 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch, which should be above your previous row, 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch, and then 7 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the same again, 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch, which should be in the same as the previous. Okay, I'm going to leave you to finish this row and I'll meet you back at the end of the row. At the end of the row you should be right at your stitch marker again and be needing to do a 2 half double crochets in the top of the stitch, in that stitch, which should be above the 2 half double crochets you did previously. Alright, so this next round is another increase, but this time we're going to be increasing in every 9th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, start again, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now I'm up to the 9th stitch, which is that 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch, so I know I'm in the right place, and I put my 2 half double crochets in that stitch, and then 8 stitches, 9th stitch, your 2 half double crochets. So I will leave you to finish that, and just make sure that you know you're in the right spot when you have come to your previous 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch. You know you're in the right spot to do your next 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch, and do periodically count just to make sure you've got that count correct, you're in the right spot, you haven't missed anything, you haven't just kept going and gone over your half double crochet in the 1 stitch where you shouldn't have. Just eyeball it and see that it's okay, and I will meet you back here after you finish this round. And at the end of the round, where your stitch marker is, you'll see your last stitch should be going into your 2 half double crochets in that 1 stitch. There we go. Now you might have noticed I didn't move my stitch marker up because I know where I'm going now, but I leave my stitch marker there so I know that that is the end of the round. The next row, we're now going to be going and putting a stitch in the next 9 stitches, and then 2 stitches in the 2 half double crochets in that stitch there, and you're starting to see the pattern now. So this row, it is 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then on the 10th stitch 2 half double crochets in that stitch, and you can see they're all lining up now. It's quite obvious where you're going. Alright, I'll leave you to finish that row, and I'll meet you back here at the end of the row. And at the end of that row, 2 half double crochets into the top of the stitch, and this row is our last increase row for a little while, and we are now doing 10 stitches before we get to our increase stitch. Now by this stage you might not even be counting, because you know exactly where your increase stitch is going to go. So here we are, I'm up to my increase, 1, 2, and if this is the case, like what I'm doing right now, just eyeball it just to make sure that you haven't missed your increase stitch, that you're in the right place, that everything's looking even and neat and tidy. Okay, continue doing this row, which is 10 single half double crochets followed by your 2 half double crochets in that corner stitch there, and I will meet you back at the end of this row. In the last stitch of this round, we are putting once again our 2 half double crochets in that 1 stitch. Now this time I am going to move my stitch marker up, because for the next 5 rows we are just putting half double crochets in every stitch, no increase in this next 5 rounds, and therefore I need to know where the beginning and the end is, so I'm going to put my stitch marker there so I know that was the last row of increase that I did. You can see that there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to do another 5 rows just plain half double crochet the whole way around, no increase, and then after that I'll meet you back here and we are going to do another 5 rows of increase. So continue doing your half double crochets in every single stitch. If you are feeling more comfortable with shifting your stitch marker up for the next 5 rows, do so. Otherwise, just keep going around for 5 rows and I will meet you back here at the end of your 5th row without any increase. Once you have finished your 5 rows, bring your stitch marker up to the last stitch of that 5th row. And we are going to increase again for the next 5 rows. So the same as what we did before. So the last increase of the last row that we did the increase on, we did 10 stitches of half double crochet, and then the 11th stitch was your 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch. So we're carrying on from that, and what we will be doing are 11 half double crochets in each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and in this 12th stitch we are doing 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch, and then do your next 11 stitches with a half double crochet, and then in your 12th stitch do your 2 half double crochets in the 1 stitch, and keep doing that until you get back to your stitch marker and I will meet you back there. Last stitch of this round should be your 2 half double crochets into that last stitch. So your next round will be single half double crochet into each stitch for the next 12 stitches, and then your 13th stitch is going to be 2 half double crochets in that stitch, and that should always fall in the 2 half double crochets in the previous row, just like you had before. And then the next row after that will be 13 stitches followed by the 14th stitch. The next row after that will be 14 stitches followed by the 15th stitch in the 2 half double crochets, and the last row, your 5th row of this increase panel, will be 15 stitches followed by the 16th stitch, 2 half double crochets in that stitch. So just remember you did the 12th stitch, 2 half double crochets in the stitch, and then you're going, the next row is 13, 14 for the next, 15 for the next, 16th stitch for the 5th and final increase row. I'm going to leave you to do that because you should know by now how to do that, and I will meet you back here at the end of the row where you have increased on your 16th row, and I'll show you what we do next. I'm finishing your last row of your increase, so remember that was increasing 15 and then the 16th stitch into the increase there. So 2 half double crochets there, and that is all our increase done, and there is no more increase to do unless of course you are a bigger sized person or you are making this for a larger person. This will comfortably fit up to a size Australian 14, and if you would like to go 18 and above, it might fit a 16 quite comfortably. But if you want to go a size above, what I would suggest then is to do another 5 rows without increase, and then do another 5 rows of increase. So those 5 rows of increase would be increasing on your 17th for the first row, 18th on the second, 19th on the third, 20th on the 4th, and the 21st on the 5th. So do another 5 rows of increase, and that should make that really nice and a good size from 18 above, or even 16 and above. And then all you need to do is continue with half double crochet from that point onwards, or from this point onwards, and you are just going to be going now around and around and around and around and around and around and around until you have used up all 5 balls of your yarn. Now I started on my second ball just over here somewhere, so this nearly was just over 1 ball of yarn, and now I'm going to be doing another 3 balls and the rest of this for the remainder of this, and then you are finished. So literally continue finishing your remainder of your ball, so 5 balls in total to make this. Keep going around and around and around and around in your half double crochets, and move your stitch marker up so that you at least you know where the start and the end of each round is, just so you know, and continue half double crochets until you run out of yarn. Now if you would like to make it longer, obviously just get more yarn and you can go longer. Just see how it looks on you and keep working. Alright, so I'm going to continue with the rest of my balls of yarn. So as I said, it is 5 balls in total from the start of your work to the end. And I will see you back here and just show you how you just finish off your garment on the last row. When you come to the end of your 5th ball and you're at the end finished, no more, you can either do one of 2 things. You can see the stitch marker here is where I started and finished the rounds, and you can line it up so that your last row lines up to that, which if I keep going down is about there, but look how close I am to it. So I just finished off the ball of yarn, so I have little wastage. So here's the end, and I can do an extra stitch, see if I can get one out of there. There we go, yep. And then the last stitch to finish off, I'm just going to slip stitch straight into the last stitch. Now slip stitches just go straight in, grab your yarn, pull it through, and then pull through this loop on your hook and pull. Tighten off, and then just sew in your end. And when I sew in my end, I go back and forth over it, so it's sort of knotting it, and hopefully it will never come undone. And snip it off, and we are finished. And here is the finished product. Love the way the colours have come out. Very bright, very colourful, very fall or autumn. Beautiful. And I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any comments, please drop a line below. You can contact me also via Instagram at lucky_platypus1. I also have a website, www.luckyplatypus.com.au, and you can get me on Facebook Messenger at Lucky Platypus. Okay everyone, well I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you at the she shed sometime very soon. Bye everyone!